What is up, all you individuals out there? It's me, full-time anime man. And I would just like to thank a lot of people that helped me get to 2,000 subscribers. Like, what's his name? Yeah, Shotai Zawa. Like, best what if teller I've ever heard so far. He's done many great what ifs. He's done what if Deku was Black Panther, what if Deku what if Deku was in the zombie apocalypse, and his plots are awesome. Let me just go ahead and say that right now while I still can. And I would also like to thank Gotcha Cake Sweet. Very creative name there. Don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh. I know it's funny, but don't laugh. Okay, I won't. Yeah, I'm not very knowledgeable about this kind of thing, but my nephew, he likes to watch this. He likes to watch Gotcha a lot. Ah, man, you'll have to excuse me. But like, yeah, I'd like to thank Gotcha Cake Sweet for the shout out a while back. Thanks for that. Yeah, it really does mean a lot to me that I'm catching a lot of people's attentions and getting their interest in my stories and all. It just really makes me want to keep going. And I honestly don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Okay, now that all has been said and done, and with that out of the way, this is What If Deku Had Maleficent's Powers, Part 3. Hope you all enjoy. It has been 2 weeks since the UA entrance exams. Izuku is in the middle of handling the creatures of the moors and handling their problems. Oh boy, ruling a kingdom is truly hard, said Izuku. I agree. With this comes great amounts of responsibility, said Diaval. I know. Izuku then looked to the time and says, oh dear, it's almost time for school to start. Oh well, let's get going, said Diaval. Izuku makes his way to his room and changes into his UA school uniform. Izuku walks out with Diaval on the other side of the door. Oh wow, Izuku, you look great. Are you ready for school to start? Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. Izuku and Diaval walked to the magic mirror together. Izuku places a hand on the mirror and makes a portal to UA. Izuku looks to Diaval and says, well, wish me luck. Diaval smiles and says, have a good day at school, Izuku. Izuku then walks through the portal and he appears at UA. He looked to the building. In his mind, he says, well, here I go. As he walks, he says, I promise, Mom, I will be a hero just for you. He enters, looking around for his classroom. Class 1A, where is it? Izuku then looks to his right and sees a giant door labeled Class 1A. I wonder why this door is so big. Maybe giants are coming to this school as well, just like the one in the moors. He opens the door to see a boy berating another student with blonde spiky hair. Hey, get your feet off that desk. It's the first day of school and you're already disrespecting school property. Haha. You're kidding, right? Did your old school put a stick up your rear end or were you just born with it? The blue-headed boy then gave out a sigh and said, okay, let's start over. My name's Tenya Ida from Fuma Academy. Katsuki Bakugo. And oh, Soma, huh? So you think you're better than me? I'm gonna have fun tearing you a new one. What? You'd threaten me? Your own classmate? Their conversation was interrupted when Izuku closed the door. The blonde-headed boy's eyes widen as he sees the same boy from before. He thinks, it's him again. Who is this guy? Izuku walks to the nearest seat and sits down. Ida then walks over to him and says, hello, I'm... Izuku interrupts him, raising a hand in the direction of Ida while saying, Tenya Ida from Some Academy. brother of Ingenious and the man with engines for a quirk. I've heard it all. It's a pleasure to meet you. Ida was astonished. How did this stranger know who he is, down to the very detail? Ida speaks. Oh, well, I'm surprised you know all that. Well, what is your name? Izuku was about to answer, but he was interrupted by the door opening and the girl he saved from the entrance exams emerging from it. She looked over and says,
Hey, I remember that face from before. You're the magic man. Hey, I gotta know, how did you do that thing with the giant tree snake and my leg? You healed it. That was so cool. Hey, what's your quirk?
Izuku smiles and says, Actually, I don't have a quirk. Everyone in the room looks to Izuku out of confusion. Even Bakugo looks to him in disbelief. Uraraka speaks.
You're quirkless? But how did you do what you just did back then? With the light and my leg and the snake.
Well, what I have, some people would consider it a gift. Ida then gets in the conversation while chopping the air, but it has to be a quirk. I've heard such an incident. Perhaps you have some sort of energy manipulation or some sort of healing. Which is it? Izuku smiles and says neither. I said I'm quirkless. Wow. So what are you? I don't know, said Izuku. The conversation was interrupted once again by the door opening. Izuku looks and his heart stops, for a girl has entered the room, standing there at 5'4", with long, flowing, half white, half red hair. But the thing that stands out most about this girl is her eyes. One eye is gray, while the other one is a very light blue. And on the side of the light blue eye, a scar lies just on the left side of her face. Izuku couldn't help but stare. The girl then looks to Izuku while squinting her eyes out of frustration.
What?
Said the girl. Izuku then stands up and walks towards the girl. He clears his throat and says, I'm sorry for staring. I just saw you enter the room and I had to come over and say hi. My name is Izuku Midoriya. Bakugo's eyes widen as he finally remembers who this man is. He slowly turns around to look at him. Oh my god. Bakugo then gets up from his seat and he walks over to the people talking. Izuku? Izuku then turned around to face Bakugo. Izuku then said, Oh, Kachan. Hey, it's been a long time. How you been? Bakugo is now in arm's reach of Izuku, and after a few seconds of silence, Bakugo then, out of nowhere, hugs Izuku, while tears falling down his face. The girl with the red and white hair stands there in confusion. Izuku was just as confused and says, Oh, well, this is unexpected. Bakugo then speaks. Where have you been for so long? The police said that they couldn't find your body, and after some time, they claimed that you had died, but I just knew you were out there somewhere. Izuku hugs Bakugo back, giving him a sympathetic smile, saying, I'm sorry I've been gone for so long. I've just been somewhere else honing my skills that were gifted to me. I wanted to come back, but I was afraid to face the reality when my mother died for me. Izuku lets go of Bakugo and he puts his right hand over his chest as if he feels an aching pain in his heart. I think about that day all the time. Izuku then had a flashback to the last time he saw his mother and the man wearing the mask who was driving that semi-truck. Back in reality, Izuku takes a deep breath, breaking him from his flashback. But it's okay. I've moved on from that. And I've learned a thing or two about what I can do. Bakugo then says, "Oh, and what can you do?" Well, the door opens to a man in a sleeping bag emerging from it. "You're about to find out," said Izuku. Everyone went to their seats. The teacher then removes the knapsack from himself and says, "I'm Shota Aizawa. I'm your homeroom teacher. And surprisingly, you all were already quiet by the time I showed up. Let's keep it that way." Aizawa then reached into his knapsack and pulled out a couple of gym uniforms. "Put these on and meet me outside." Uraraka speaks up, saying,
But what about orientation? Aren't we gonna miss it?
Aizawa continues to walk down the hallway while saying, "If you want to make it in the big leagues, you can't waste time on pointless ceremonies. Why waste time on things like that when you can be training?" Everyone is very confused, but they could see by their teacher's careless attitude that he doesn't care, and that they should probably get dressed ASAP. A few minutes later, everyone is outside wearing their blue and white gym uniforms. Aizawa speaks. "Today, we will be conducting an assessment test." Aizawa looks to Izuku and says, "You there, Izuku, what was your furthest softball throw in middle school?" Izuku then speaks, saying, "I didn't attend middle school, Mr. Aizawa. Most of my time was based on training and ruling a kingdom." Aizawa, along with everyone else, looks to Izuku out of confusion. "Okay, anyway, just throw this ball as far as you can." Aizawa then tosses Izuku a ball, and Izuku catches it, and looks at it wondering why. He doesn't question it and walks up to the mark. "Are you ready?" said Aizawa. Izuku closes his eyes and takes a deep breath while holding the ball in his right hand. "I'm ready." "Go." Izuku battered his arm back and throws the ball very far. Everyone follows the ball with their eyes as they stare in amazement. Aizawa then looks to the reader and shows the score to the class, 436 meters. Everyone is bewildered. Ida speaks up, saying, while chopping the air, "You did say you were quirkless, right, Izuku?" Aizawa walks over to Izuku and says, "That was a good throw, but was that your full power?" Izuku thinks for a moment. No, I don't think so." "Well, do it again, but this time really use all your power." Aizawa gives Izuku another ball. "Okay, here I go." Izuku prepares himself for another throw. "Go," said Aizawa. Izuku takes a big inhale, and as he slowly exhales, his body begins to glow green. He keeps going, and then 3 rings seems to be motioning up and down Izuku's body repeatedly. He then opens his eyes, and the light stops, putting all of his energy into his hand with the ball. Winding his arm around his head 3 times, he lifts his left leg into the air while his right arm is stretched behind his head, ready to throw the ball. Slamming his left leg back to the ground, he makes a small crater. He throws the ball so fast and so hard he breaks the sound barrier, knocking everyone back, including their teacher. Izuku looks to the ball until it was out of sight. He turns to Aizawa while smiling and says, "Well, how was that?" Aizawa looks to the reader. It's still counting. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. The device then beeps, indicating that the score has been caught. Aizawa shows the score to the rest of the class. They all gasp as they see that Izuku's score is 5,036 meters. "Just what is this kid?" asked one student. So, what's my score? Asked Izuku. That was perfect. You passed that test. Kirishima speaks up saying, "Oh wow, that was so amazing. That score was beyond manly." Another student with pink hair followed by her pink skin speaks.
And we get to use our quirks all we want? Man, this is gonna be fun.
Aizawa's eyes then frown with anger. He speaks. What? He then turns to the rest of the class, and his hair begins to flow in the air while his irises glows the color red. He continues, there is no fun when it comes to being a hero. By the time you've all become true heroes, you better be ready to throw away your whole life because crime never sleeps. There's no fun about it. And you know what? How about we make things a little more interesting? Aizawa then gives off a devilish smirk and says, the last person to come into last place gets expelled, effective immediately. Everyone was surprised, but Uraraka speaks up. But wait, we just got here. That's not fair. Oh, and power-hungry villains? What about natural disasters? Life isn't fair. If you wish to be a true hero someday, you better go beyond your limits. Show me that it is no mistake that you're here. Now, you, blonde-headed boy, Bakugo, it's your turn. Bakugo then grabs a ball and throws it, while letting off an explosion. It reaches only 500 meters. He was irritated that he didn't get the highest score. He then looked over to Izuku. He was quietly clapping his hands, while smiling. Bakugo then said, whatever. By the end of the test, Izuku came out on top in first place, while a girl named Toru Hagakure was in last place. Everyone looked at her, or what they think was her. I don't know, she's invisible. She speaks.
What? But I gave it all I had. Can I try again?
Izuku walks up to her and puts a hand on her shoulder and says, don't fret. It was just, well, what do you call that? A lie to everyone so that everyone would give it their all. Izuku then turns to face Aizawa and then says, isn't that right, Aizawa? Aizawa then sighs and says, yeah, it was a lie. No one's getting expelled. Everyone, I'll see you tomorrow. While Aizawa walks off, he then says, class dismissed. Everyone's faces then turn white out of surprise, all except for Izuku and a girl named Yaoyorozu. And maybe Toru? I don't know, we will never see her face. Yaoyorozu speaks up saying, wait, you all really didn't know that? It was a logical deception? Everyone then responds back, yelling the same thing, no! Izuku makes his way to the changing room and says to everyone, I hope everyone has a nice day. I'll see you all tomorrow. They all look to Izuku. One student says, just what is this guy? Another student with frog-like appearance says,
He is quirkless, right, Ribbit?
A few minutes later, Izuku exits the locker room as Bakugo is waiting for him on the outside, wearing his normal school uniform. Oh, hey Kachan, what's up? Bakugo approaches Izuku and speaks. You did say you were quirkless, right? That is correct, yes. So, how did you do all that stuff out there today? Izuku smiles and says, Kachan, that was magic. Izuku tells Bakugo about the night when he was born, when a magic woman bestowed her powers onto him. He decided to keep a secret of where he lives to protect the creatures of the moors. Bakugo, clearly processing everything, then speaks. That's really hard to believe. Izuku smiles and says, fine, come on, I'll show you more proof. Bakugo follows Izuku to their classroom, 1A, where Aizawa is on the floor sleeping. Izuku taps Aizawa on his shoulder. He wakes up and faces the boys. What do you want? Said Aizawa. Izuku speaks. I'm sorry to bother you, Sensei, but I was hoping that you could use your quirk on me. Aizawa rubs his eyes while he sits up and says, Why? Well, I would like to show Bakugo here that I'm quirkless. Aizawa looks to the boys. What do you mean, you're quirkless? I mean, I don't have a quirk. I'm powerless. Well, adjacent powerless. So, what was that power that was just displayed a few minutes ago? It was magic. Aizawa's left eyebrow then lifts up from confusion. So, will you use your quirk on me? Asked Izuku. Aizawa sighs and says, Fine, but only for a minute. Aizawa's iris then glows red. Izuku then says, Okay, are you ready? Yeah, said Bakugo. Izuku then conjures fire onto his hands. Bakugo looks to Izuku with a surprised look, and so does Aizawa. Izuku speaks. Mr. Aizawa, are you still using your quirk on me? It took Aizawa a few seconds to respond back. Yeah. Yes. How is this possible? Like I said, it's magic, not a quirk. And you can only stop people with quirks. This isn't a quirk. Izuku then puts his hands down as the fire disappears. See? What I have is not a quirk. Oh, well, I'm sorry for doubting you, said Bakugo. It's okay, said Izuku. It's about time that I head home. I'll see you guys later. Izuku then walks to the door as he waves goodbye and leaves the classroom, leaving Aizawa and Bakugo alone. Bakugo and Aizawa look to each other in disbelief. While Izuku is walking down the hallway, the intercom turns on, saying, Izuku Midoriya, please report to the principal's office, Izuku Midoriya. Izuku was confused. What could be going on that he had to go to the principal's office for? Izuku then goes to Principal Nezu's office. Hello, Principal? Ah, Izuku, please have a seat, said Nezu. Izuku makes his way to the chair and sits down. So, what can I do for you? Asked Izuku. Oh, well, actually, there's two things that I need you for, Izuku. Oh, one of those things would be that I just remember where I heard your name from. It was about 10 years ago when there was that car incident and a man was recklessly driving in the opposite lane in a semi-truck. Nezu looks up to Izuku and says, If you rather I'd not talk about this, it's okay. Izuku crosses his arms while keeping a straight face and says, No, it's fine. I would like to know what happened that day. Principal Nezu continues, Well, from what I've found out, over 90 people died that day, including your mother, Inko. I'm terribly sorry about that, by the way. It's fine, said Izuku. Keep going. After they counted the bodies, they tried looking for you, only to not find anything. So, for a while, they assumed that you ran away, and then when nothing came up at all, they claimed that you died. Nezu takes a deep breath and says, Okay, as far as the man who drove the semi-truck, he killed a number of potential heroes, and to this day, he's still out there. We don't know his real name, but he likes to go by the name Muscular. The tensity in the room grows rapidly the more Izuku hears about the man who murdered his mother, along with a number of innocent people. Nezu speaks. Now, Izuku, I'm going to show you an image of the man to see if you can confirm if this was him. Is that okay with you? Izuku takes a deep breath and nods his head in agreement, saying yes. Okay, said Nezu. Nezu then slid a photo from the files and gives a quick sigh and says to Izuku, "Is this the man who killed those people, including your mother?" Nezu raises the photo up to Izuku's side of view. Izuku sees the man in the picture who killed his mother. Izuku quickly begins to lose control of his powers, cause the moment he saw the man in the photo, it was like his mind forcefully took him back to that day, where he was too weak to do anything to save his mother. Izuku's head was pounding, and his heart was shattered like a broken mirror. Izuku then felt a hand on his shoulder. He looked over to see Principal Nezu with a concerned look on his face. He looked around to the room and sees that there were things floating in the air, like filing cabinets, other chairs, paperwork, and potted plants. When Izuku saw what was happening, everything then fell to the ground. Izuku feels ashamed for what he had done, putting both of his hands to his face, saying, "I'm sorry, Principal Nezu. I lost control." "It's okay," said Principal Nezu. "I take it that was him, the man." Izuku nodded his head in agreement. "Yeah, that was him." Even though Izuku didn't really see his face at first, he did see his hair, his body type, along with his clothes, with the red tank top. Izuku continues to rapidly breathe as if he's about to hyperventilate, but Principal Nezu then begins to calm him down, talking to him softly. "It's okay, it's okay. Just take deep breaths. Deep breaths, Izuku." Izuku had no doubt in his mind that was the man. A few minutes of breathing, Principal Nezu then offered Izuku a bottle of Evian water. Izuku takes a sip and says, "Thank you, Principal Nezu. Please, allow me to clean up your office for you." Izuku raises both of his hands in the air as they emit a light. Everything in the room levitated back to its original spot, and within a few seconds, everything looked normal as if nothing happened. Principal Nezu was astonished, looking at Izuku, and then says, "Oh wow, that's amazing. You know, you said this wasn't a quirk, right? So, is this magic of some sort?" Izuku smiles and says, "Yes." "Oh wow. It took me a long time to train and truly make this power my own, so I could use it properly." Principal Nezu then says, "Oh wow, that's truly amazing. You know, for a long time, even before quirks started manifesting, people have said that there were people who possessed magical powers, but it was very rare. I guess you really are something special, Izuku." "Thank you," said Izuku. "And as you saw there, my magic is tethered to my emotions, so it's very important that I stay calm and collected the whole time. And so while I was training, I also trained my mind to remain calm and collected. I guess for the first time in a couple of years, I just kind of lost myself there. Sorry about the office again." "It's okay," said Principal Nezu. "Oh, I almost forgot about the other reason I wanted to speak with you." "Well, not me exactly." Principal Nezu then picked up his phone and dialed a number. Izuku sits there, not saying anything, wondering what's going on. The phone rings, and after a few seconds, someone picks up. "Hello?" "Yes, he's here." "Okay, I'll give him the phone." Principal Nezu then handed Izuku the phone and says, "I'll be outside, just let me know when you're done." Okay, said Izuku. Principal Nezu then walked out of his office and closed the door. Izuku then puts the phone to his ear and says, "Hello?" A woman on the other line says, "Izuku Midoriya?" Izuku then responded back in a questionable tone, saying, "Yes." "Hello there. My name is Delilah from Fuji Prison. I have someone here who would like to speak with you. Do you accept?" Izuku was extremely confused. After a few seconds of thinking, Izuku then says, "Yes." "Very well then," said Delilah. "Hold, please." Izuku looks to the door, wondering why Principal Nezu called Fusu prison, and why someone in prison would want to talk with him. He hasn't been in Japan in 10 years, so who could it be? After some time, Delilah comes back to the phone and says, "Izuku, are you still there?" "Yes, I am." "Okay, here you go." Izuku heard Delilah give the phone to someone else, who said, "Thank you," in a very manly tone. On the other side, Izuku heard a sigh of nervousness, and he speaks. "Hello? Who is this?" The voice on the other line then said in a very nervous voice, "Hello, Izuku?" Izuku then asked, "Who is this?" "My name is Hisashi Midoriya. I'm your father." Izuku's eyes widen as he can't believe what he just heard. Dad? And that is the end of part 3 of What If Deku Had Maleficent's Powers. Now, this felt so good to get back into this What If because it just brings back so many good memories that I had when I, surprisingly wasn't that long ago, when I freaking hit 100 subscribers in the amount of, not even a month after being a YouTuber, a true YouTuber. I really enjoy making these stories for people to listen to, and it really means a lot to me that, I know I already said this, but I feel like I have to say it again. It really does mean a lot to me that people enjoy my videos much, and I really hope that I don't let anyone down. Okay, now with that off my chest, Taser, come here. Something you want to say to the people? Something you want to say? Oh, nope, you're just itchy? Okay. Alright, y'all, so that's what my dog had to say. Don't know why I feel like I had to get her involved in this. But, now, I'm just in so much awe. Okay, here it goes. Okay, I'm about to get it out. Alright. Thank you all for whoever clicked this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you want more. And if you made it to the end of this video, consider yourselves #blessed. And I hope everyone has a nice day. Goodbye. Stay healthy, stay clean, stay cool. Once again.